The next topic we are going to discuss is web services. What is a web service? Web services can convert your application into web application, which can publish its function or message to the rest of the world. The basic web services platform is a combination of XML and HTTP. Web services communicate using open protocols. Web services are self-contained and self-describing. Web services can be discovered using UDDI. Web services can be used by other applications. XML is the platform for the web services. Let's discuss about web services elements. One is SOAP, nothing but Simple Object Access Protocol. SOAP is an XML based protocol to let applications exchange information over HTTP. Actually, all the RMI calls having some security constraints, so as HTTP is feasible in all the layers, we are developing the SOAP on top of HTTP, and we are using SOAP as a XML based protocol. WSDL, Web Services Description Language. WSDL is an XML based language for locating and describing web services. UDDI, Universal Description, Discovery and Integration, is a directory service where companies can register and search for web services. Let's create an example. First, create a class with methods that you wish to expose. Add @web service to the class and @web method annotation to the method you wish to expose through SOAP. App Engine does not support the use of JAX-WS in a SOAP, but as we have added this in our example @web service and @web method, we have to generate the WSDL using WSGen tool. This WSGen tool is a predefined tool given by GAE to generate the WSDL and XSD and corresponding Java classes. So place the script in the root directory of the project and run WSGen, which is included on the JDK on the annotated class. So let's go ahead and create a class and add @web service and @web method to the methods which we are going to expose and generate a WSDL using WSGen. How the WSGen looks like? Say having a class which we are going to expose, and having a class path where the class files are being kept, having a resource directory, having an outsource directory and outdir, and WSGen is a tool where it invokes the WSGen and creates the WSDL and XSD and corresponding classes. Let's go ahead and create the application. Go to Eclipse, create a file, new web application project, name it as web services, packages com.inno web services. So a servlet has been created with the package web services. So this is the structure of the project. Let's create a class which we are going to expose with the methods. I am going to create a class web services demo. Create the class web service demo and creating the method we are using the same application which used earlier, performing some CRUD operations. Public boolean create user of string user ID, string username, string password, string email, string age. Now create an entity employee new entity of kind employee with user ID. Okay, entity has been created. Set the property user ID with the value user ID set the property with username as value email age email age try to print all this here. Let's try to print this. So now we have generated one utils class to do our operations. Create a class name as utils in order to create our DB operations. Instantiate the data source. Data store service ds equal to data store service factory dot get data source. We invoke the service. Now we need to create the methods. Update entity, we are providing entity as a parameter. ds dot put off entity e. And also we need one more method which we are going to expose, public static, which is a Pojo class which we are going to set the properties to the particular class, and we'll get it out at the end of the result. So it's a get identity which represents the particular ID. So let's develop a user Pojo class, create a class user Pojo, with the variables private string user ID, private string username, string password, string email, and string age. Try to generate getters and setters using source, generate setters and getters, select all, and generate setters and getters. So your Pojo class is ready. Go to utils class. So we are returning a user Pojo to the end for the particular get entity method. So entity e equal to ds dot get off. The key we are passing is ID. Actually, the ds dot get will throw a entity not found exception. We need to keep in try block. Okay. Then let's instantiate this user Pojo. User Pojo, and what we are doing is we are setting the upcoming retrieved results from the data store, and we are setting the properties to the user Pojo objects. up dot set user ID of e dot get property of string name, property name, which is in our section user ID. We need to convert it to string, as because the output of e dot get property is an object, we are converting to string. up dot set username of e dot get property of username dot to string. Get property of password dot to string. So what we are doing here is get property is from entity. We got entity with the help of get ID from data store object. We got an entity and we are getting the properties of the entity and we are setting to the user ID. Now return up object. Now So coming to our first section, we are going to give two methods to expose as a web service. So let's create the methods first. I create one method and let's call the service using utils class. Utils dot get entity or update entity of employee return true. So I created one method with create user, and I'm going to create one more method, which this create user method will create an entity, whereas another method public, which is user pose as return type get user of string name. So this method is used to retrieve the record from the database for the particular ID. Let's declare a string uname. For retrieving anything, we need key equal to key factory dot create key of kind employee and provide the name as name. Now invoke the method. What is the method? Utils dot get entity of, we are passing key as the parameter. The return type of this utils is user pojo up equal to and return up. So we have declared two methods. One is create user, which is create or update an entity, and another one is get user, which retrieve the data from the database. So now our first condition is we need to annotate with the @web service. Our class needs to annotate with the @web service from JAX-WS JavaX.jws, and the method has to be @web method. Same we need to do for another method too. Okay, now first part is completed. We have whatever the methods and class we need to expose, we are annotated with the web service and web method. Now we need to go and generate the WSDL, as Java our JAE would not support JAX-WS, with the help of WSDL tool. It's a batch file which we need to keep in our location where our project has been created. Copy over there and paste it here. Edit the WSDL tool and give the package name with the class name, which we expose as a web service. The name is com.inno.webservices. com.inno.webservices. Make it as com.inno.web. So I have given the complete class over here and save it. Go to the particular path, copy, go to command prompt, go to the particular location and invoke run.batch file. What this WSDL tool will create is one WSDL file, one XSD and the respective JAX-WS generation source files. we can check the WSDL in our Eclipse. Go to Eclipse and refresh it. We can see the WSDL has been created. The WSDL has been created with the messages, port and bindings, and an XSD has been created with the input parameters create user, create response user, get user response, and user poser class, and we can see the XSD. Along with that, the WSGen tool created in JAX-WS web services classes, which we are going to use and generate our web services. The WSGen tool automatically generates the Java class files in the mentioned package. So it has been generated. Now we have to write an adapter class so that we can exchange message between the server and client. We need to write an adapter class. For that, create a class with the name create user adapter and update the details about what each method needs to do when called. Let's go ahead and do this. This is not required. We don't want to create a adapter class if our JAX-WS for SOAP servers are supported by App Engine. Go to Eclipse and create an adapter class. We need to create a class name as create user adapter. Click on finish. A class has been created. Now web services instantiate our demo class which we have created and exposed it as a web service, and here we need to create two classes. One is create user response as parameter, method as create user. Why we need to do this? First question, as it has explained that it is not supported, GAE is not supported for JAX-WS on SOAP server, we have to create our adapter class in order to communicate the server and the client. So string user ID equal to, will pass create user request as parameter. So these two are imported from automatically created JAX-WS classes. We have imported, and user ID equal to request dot get arg of 0, string username equal to request dot get arg of 1, string password equal to request dot get arg of 2. Okay. Why we need to create this? Let's go and check user, what is there in create user and create user response. The create user and create user response are annotated classes generated by JAX-WS WSGen client. So it has been written say string parameter and setting a parameter which is coming to the particular class. So we are using these services which are automatically generated, and we are creating our adapter class for communication between client and server. Now so we are sending the parameters to create user method of WSS demo. So user ID, username, password, email. We have sent the parameters. Now, response dot first create user response equal to new create user response dot set return of boolean. So then return response. So we have created a method create user with the return type as create user response, and we are passing create user request as a parameter, and same we need to do for another method get user response get user of get user response request. We are manipulating the data which is coming from the incoming request. String kind equal to request dot get arg of 0. We are sending only one argument, and the output of that is user pojo dot pojo up equal to wd dot get user of passing kind as a parameter. Get user response equal to new get user response of. Then we need to set the response dot set response of up object. So we are setting response to up and return response. So what we have done till now is we have created an adapter class with a methods which we are going to expose, and we are manipulating the data which is coming from input, and we are sending the request to our actual web service demo class by invoking the create method of web service demo and get user of web service demo. Now we need to write a SOAP handler class that implements the method public SOAP message and handles SOAP request. We have to write an adapter class so that we can exchange messages between the server and the client. This SOAP handler class will communicate between the server and the client. And SOAP message is a class in JAX.xml.soap that represents a SOAP request or response message. Update the details about what each method needs to do when called. So this SOAP message is a pack in the package of javax.xml.soap that represents what it has to do when it has called. We can distinguish the request type by checking the XML element name under generated classes and XST. Let's go ahead and create user SOAP handler class. So we can distinguish the input request by checking the auto generated classes XML root element with name with create user and namespace as http innovwebservice.com. This SOAP handler class is a customized class from GAE, as they are not supporting JAX-WS on SOAP server. So the customized class, we can download it from GAE website, and put it in your package. Finally, write doPost method of servlet to use web services through HTTP request. This method will do construct a SOAP message from the XML in the HTTP request. Pass the SOAP message to handle SOAP request of SOAP handler class and obtain a SOAP message response. Serialize the SOAP message response to the HTTP response. Access and test the WSDL locally. Go to Eclipse. This web services client is also customized class from Google. We can copy it and we can paste it in our package. So our web services server is ready. We can test the service locally. Before going to that, test the WSDL in the browser. Get the location, go to the browser, paste it with the extension WSDL. There we go. This is our WSDL file. We can test it with the help of SOAP UI tool. Go to the file, new SOAP project, provide the WSDL and make it as local for our reference. Click on OK. It will load the files from the WSDL and created the two functionalities. One is create user and another one is get user. Go to the request and update it with the parameters. One is cloud1 user ID, cloud is a name, password is password, email is cloud@gmail.com and age is 345. Let's try to hit the URL. There you go. We got the response true. Go to the entity. One employee entity is created with the employee list with ID name cloud1 with age 345. There our web service is successfully running. Invoke the other method, which is give the argument as cloud1. Now what it has to do is it has to go to the web service and get back the result. It returns the age, email, password, user ID and username. So both the functionalities are working as expected. So let's deploy this into the cloud. Before going to that, we need to understand complete flow of the application. Let's start. When the request is coming from the SOAP server, the first it invokes the http://localhost:8888 web service demo service. First it goes to the WSDL and checks for particular service. The service having a service name web service demo service. It checks in the web.xml with the URL pattern. With the URL pattern, it loads the particular servlet, which is web service server 1. Go to our web service server 1, which accepts the method as doPost. What the doPost method actually functionality? It initializes the message headers with MIME headers with the help of method getHeaders. These MIME headers are used to give extra authentication by providing username and passwords, and it stores in the header files. And then the incoming request which is coming from the SOAP is a input stream. We're getting it into the input stream and we are converting to the creating a message and putting in a SOAP request. This message factory is used to create message and provide the SOAP request, and this SOAP request we are sending to the handle SOAP request method of SOAP handler, which we have created. So the request that I created here, we are sending it to SOAP handler. The handle SOAP request method of user SOAP handler class get the request of SOAP message, and the SOAP message, it parse the SOAP message and get the elements and iterate the objects which has if it is consisting of SOAP element, it iterates the object and get the respective SOAP elements. If you invoke the first method, it invoke the create user queue name equals of queue name. The incoming request is equal to incoming request from SOAP API is equal to the queue name of our generated classes. Then it goes to handle create user. The handle create user, which accepts the SOAP element as an input request and which converts the input stream into an object. Here is converting input stream into an object, which is nothing called as we are unmarshalling. So we are passing it to create user, which is of our adapter class which we have created. We are go to adapter class, it gets the input request from the request of create user and which is sending as a parameters to the create user of our business class. This is a business class, which is web service demo is our business class. We are passing the input request of our SOAP request to a business class which is create user. Their actual functionality we are doing, and we are retrieving a return true, and which we are sending back to the adapter class, and adapter class send a response back to handle class, and handle class return a response object which we are invoking your web server 1 class. There we got the response back, which is a SOAP response, and we are set the status as OK and set content type of UTF-8, and we are sending back to the SOAP client, and we are getting responses true in the SOAP client. This is a client tool which we can invoke the web service. Now let's deploy the application into the cloud. Go to appengine.google.com. Go to my applications, create an application. I'm going to create web services. Check availability. Web services 1 is available. Web services. Create the application. Go to the dashboard. So here is a dashboard of our application. Make it as web services 1. Go to our appengine-web.xml and give the application name as web services 1. Make sure that you have to change the location of the WSDL before you are going to deploy it in the cloud. It has to web services .appspot.com. Now, so we have changed our appengine-web.xml with the application name and WSDL with the location where it will be hosting, and now save it and deploy it to Google App Engine. It has web services deploy. It is deploying the content to the Google App Engine. The application got deployed. We can check the application with the help of first test the application in the browser with the extension WSDL. There you go. Our WSDL got downloaded from App Engine. I have given webservices.appspot.com. So our WSDL should consisting of exactly what we have given in our local machine. We can test the web service with the help of SOAP tool. Go to the SOAP UI, create a new project and give the WSDL with the extension WSDL, and there the hostname we are mentioning is innowebservice.appspot.com, which we have created just now, and click on OK. It has to load it. Yeah, it has loaded two functionalities. One is create user and another one is get user. Before going that, go to the application domain. This is appengine.google.com. Go to innowebservices 1. Go to the dashboard viewer. So as you see, we don't have any entities in our application. Let's invoke the service first. We are giving name as ID as bus, bus1, and password as password, email ID as bus@innowbus.com, with age is 345. When we invoke this, we need to get a true response. Invoke, yes, we got the response true. Go to viewer and refresh the page. An employee is created with buzz@infobus.com with the password and with the user ID and with the username. Same, we can invoke the another functionality by using passing a parameter for argument as buzz. Invoke the web service with submit the request to specified point. It has retrieved the data of buzz345 buzz@info.com. This has been serving from, when you see the URL here, the URL is serving from innowbus web services 1.appspot.com, which we have deployed in the cloud. So this is how we can publish and we can consume the web services using GAE.